Hey everyone, how you doing today? It's a pleasure being here and joining you. My name is Andres Gonzalez. I'm from the Holistic Life Foundation, but everyone calls me Andy. So you can call me Andres, you can call me Andy, whatever it is you like. Um, I'll tell you a little bit about myself and then we'll get into a practice. So I'm one of the founders of the Holistic Life Foundation. Last week you got Atman, next week you will get Ali, and we'll give you three other sessions besides that. Hola. Hey Juana. Um, and yeah, so Ali Ahmed and I started the Holistic Life Foundation all the way in 2001. They're brothers. They met me in college. We were pretty wild guys in college, to be honest with you. And we ended up falling into the practice. And this is one of the first techniques that our teacher taught us, and is one that really transformed my life. Really, I remember being a pretty wild guy and graduating from college and talking to him and him saying, "So I'm gonna show you how to breathe today." And I was like, well, what do you mean you're gonna show me how to breathe? I already know how to breathe. And he's like, nah, I don't think you do. And he showed me this technique, and it blew my mind that he was right. I really didn't know the right way to breathe. I had been living my life. I just graduated college, so I just got this higher education, supposedly, right? And no one had taught me the proper way of breathing. And it was really like mind-boggling to me. Like, I couldn't believe it. He would always say to us, your life starts with your first breath and it ends with your last. So it must be important. And those that concept is so profound to me, and I never understood why nobody ever showed me this breathing technique. And ever since I started using these breathing techniques and the meditations that he showed us, and all the other techniques and stuff that he showed us as well, that transformation occurred inside my life, and in Ali Anonymous as well. And I always like to say that we started seeing the world through different eyes and hearing the world through different ears, and experiencing life in a completely different manner. And I think one of the main things that I learned through this transformation was being able to see myself in everybody else. So everyone started becoming these mirrors as I started walking around the world, and I could see myself in them. And instead of pointing fingers and blaming people for this or that or the way they made me feel, I instead analyzed, hey, well, this person is making me feel this way, or I'm getting this feeling because this person, and maybe it's stuff that I need to work on. And I think a lot of times we're overwhelmed, right, by the past. Our teacher in the future. The past causes anger. Someone said something or did something to you. The future causes anxiety. What's to come? What's to happen? And my teacher used to always say the now, right? The now is the only time there is this present moment. And that moment that I just spoke of is already the past. The now is only right now all the time. And this breath that I'm going to show you is going to allow you to be in that present moment all the time. It's going to allow you to clear your thoughts and be here now whenever you need to. It's extremely practical. You don't need to go anywhere to do it. Your breath is with you. It's portable. It's here all the time. So the first thing I want to remind you to do is that we need to always breathe in and out of our noses. If you picture an infant breathes perfectly. When it inhales, you see the belly rise. When it exhales, you see the belly fall. Even if it has a clogged nose, it'll do the snot bubble. I don't know if you all seen the snot bubble before, right? Where to breathe out and you see the baby doesn't start panting like that. For some reason, we do though, right? As we get older, we start panting like we're animals, and we're not using the full capacity of our lungs. We're not breathing the right way. We're breathing in and out of our mouths. So if you can take away one thing from this lesson, at least, it's always in and out of your nose. And the reason is our nose is three main things. It's a filter, it's a heater, and it's a humidifier. So you have nose hairs, right? They go all the way down, and even in your throat, the cilia, they go down. When I talk to kids about this, they're like, we don't have any nose hairs. And I'm like, oh, just you wait. They're coming, right? And I'm sure all the adults on here, they know about that, right? So that's our filtration system. There's dust, there's dander, there's germs, there's things, microscopic stuff floating around in the air around us. And when we breathe in, it sticks on our nose hairs. And we breathe out, that pushes it out. I love the breath so much. Even our nostrils, right? Our nostrils are round. The reason they're round is because the air doesn't just come straight in and go down into our lungs. It actually comes in and spins around. It forms little eddies, and it's cleaning the air up. And then you want to breathe out your nose to push that stuff off your nose hairs. And we can see how important this is, especially now with all the stuff that's going on with COVID, right? Everyone's wearing masks now. They're making sure that these germs aren't getting into their system. So you always want to be breathing in and out of your noses. Besides the filter, it's a heating system as well. So you have mucous membranes that line your nasal passage, and it's getting colder outside right now. So if you are a mouth breather and you're breathing in and out your mouth all day long in the nice warm house that you're in, and then you step outside when it's cold, that temperature shift from warm to cold can seize up your bronchs. I don't know if you've ever stepped outside, you get that, it's like a wheezing sensation, right? It's because you're seizing your bronchs up. This can lead to bronchitis, right? So you want to make sure you're using that natural heating system that we have as well. And the last is we have a humidifying system here. The glands here in our cheeks that form the moisture for our tears, that's our humidifying system when we're breathing in. So you get all three of those benefits when you're breathing in and out of your nose. So you just want to make sure nice, long, slow, deep breaths in and out of our nose. But you see what I said? I said deep breaths. And that's something we've noticed. We've been doing this for over 20 years now. And when I go around the nation, around the world, I tell an individual to take a deep breath. This is what they give me. I say, let me see your deep breath. They'll go like this. That was not a deep breath. It looked right. I puffed my chest up, so it looked like a deep breath. We call that the Superman breath, right? And that's actually the opposite of what I'm trying to show you today. We want you to do a belly breath. You want to focus on the lower portion of your lungs. Our lungs are shaped like a pear or like a teardrop, like that. You see that? So if we're going to the top portion, we're only using 10% of our lung capacity. What we want to do is we want to manipulate our diaphragm, this muscle that gets stronger the more and more we use it. We manipulate it, we create a vacuum. So when we breathe in, the air comes in and shoots down to our lower lungs first. Okay, we're going to fill our lower lungs up. It's the main thing we're focusing on here. It's going to look like our belly is filling up with air, and that's not actually physically possible. All that's happening is it's moving our bellies with the contraction of our diaphragm. But you want to actually use that. It's a good imagery you can use when you're practicing this, because imagine that you're filling your belly up with air like it's a balloon. And what happens to a balloon when you fill it up with air? It gets bigger. So when we fill our bodies up, our belly's going to get bigger, just like the baby we were talking about. And then when we exhale, we're going to push all that stale CO2, all those ruminating thoughts out of our minds, and really push our stomach in. Because that's the thing, is our inhale is super important. It helps with our digestion. It helps with cleaning our blood. But our exhale is equally as important, because we need to get rid of that stale CO2, and in particular, those ruminating thoughts. Those are those thoughts that aren't allowing us to be present. Remember at the beginning, I was talking about being here now. And that's what we're trying to do with this breath. Well, sometimes, I'm sure this has happened to all of us at some point in time. It could be happening to you right now. It's getting close to dinner time. Maybe you're sitting here, you're watching me, like, oh, this is good. I like what he's talking about, but I got to make sure I get food ready. What am I going to make today? Are we doing rice again today? We've done rice 2 days in a row, and we're trying to stay off carbs, so no noodles either. I don't want to do potatoes. Are we just going to do vegetables? That's kind of plain. And then we're going to add some steak. We need a protein. Are we doing chicken? Are we doing meat? Now you're listening to me, but all that stuff is going on in your head at the same time, right? Those are those thoughts that don't allow you to be in this present moment. And when we fully exhale, you get rid of those ruminating thoughts, and it allows you to be in the present moment. I always like to get people to think about a sigh. You ever notice when you sigh, it's like right after you got over something in your mind. Now, usually it's out of your mouth. It's like finally, I'm done with that thought. Finally, like I cleared it out. So we're focusing on in and out of our nose with this exercise. But I just want you to think about that same type of concept. All right. And the last thing I really want to talk about, what I think is super important before we actually get into the breathing technique, is I want to talk about our autonomic nervous system, because I think this is very, very important. And I always reference a wonderful talk by Dr. Nadine Burke Harris. It's a TEDx talk. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out. It's about ACEs scores and trauma and the impact of what's going on with a lot of the youth and a lot of individuals like us, either diagnosed or undiagnosed trauma. And she uses a great example when she talks about the autonomic nervous system. She says, imagine we're going out into the woods and we see a bear. And we see the bear, immediately, the sympathetic side of our autonomic nervous system, it kicks in. And our body is amazing. It does stuff we don't even ask it to. It just automatically does it, right? So our pupils dilate, our heart rate increases, cortisol levels increase, adrenaline levels increase. We start breathing in and out of our mouths, because this is fight or flight. This is our stress response. It's natural. And our body's telling us, okay, big bear in front of us. What are we going to do? Are we going to fight? Or are we going to run? I'm assuming most of us are running. If any of you are bear wrestlers, good for you. Hopefully you can tame the bear. That would be super awesome. All right. But the thing is, this occurs to us, and this can help us in these situations. And the stress response isn't bad for 1 to 2 hours. But over prolonged periods of time, this is not good for us. It's unhealthy. That's why people get ulcers, because cortisol's pumping all the time, right? That's when you're in this stress state all the time, you're overworking your body. And I love the way that Dr. Nadine Burke Harris, she said, with some of the kids or some of the people that you know, that bear lives with them. Ooh, I love how she said that. And it's powerful. And I'm sure you can think of a situation or someone where that's how it is. We're all day long. That's what we're dealing with. Maybe the bear's at work with you. Thank God for Zoom now, huh? But, maybe it's someone in your family, maybe it's a neighbor, who knows, but the bears are everywhere and they're constantly getting us in this state. And this breathing technique is going to allow us to shift from sympathetic to parasympathetic to our resting natural state. And remember, you can do it anytime. You can do it all the time. Your breath is always here. It's always with you. All right, then the last thing I want to say is because I could hear Uncle Will saying it in my head. Uncle Will's our teacher, by the way. He's an amazing man. He's done Transcended already, but he's always here with us at all times. And he would talk about a metaphor. He would say, imagine that your body is like a boat and the world is the ocean. And oftentimes our waters are calm. But more oftentimes than not, they're all over the place. There's bombardment, external and internal in our world. There's, just it's your job, it's peers, social media, the news, politics, bills, taxes, you name it, all the time, right? Constantly just bombard us. And so this boat is our body, but we can't go anywhere. He would always say, set your sails. How can you get where you want to go without setting your sails? So he would say, set your sails and get somewhere, but it's hard if the water's all over the place. Then he would say, your breath is your anchor. Your breath allows you to still yourself, which in turn will still your waters. Then you can set your sails and go in whatever direction you like. All right. So we're going to go through a few deep breaths here with me today. Remember, all the breathing is going to be in and out of our noses. Okay. We're going to make sure we're using our belly. So the way we're going to use our belly, I'm going to stand up so you can see this technique, okay? Thank you. Oh, Kathy. Hey, I love you, Kathy. I didn't even know that you were here. Okay, ready? So check it out. So this is the way we're going to do the technique. You can see my stomach here, and you're going to take a hand, and you're going to place your hand on your belly. Now, all of our bodies are different, so this is going to be your personal marker. You're going to breathe in through your nose, and I want you to push. You're overemphasizing that your belly's getting nice and big. So you inhale and get a nice big belly. You see that, y'all? I've been working on that just for y'all, just for this class right here. Leave your hand there. Exhale and pull your belly away from your hand. Create that space. See the space created? Inhale, push your belly back out. Exhale, pull your belly back in. Creating that space. Now, you might not have as much space the first time you do this, okay? I've been doing this for a long time, right? So, and remember, our bodies are all different. So there might only be a little bit of space. Or even when you do it, you might feel really awkward. A lot of times after people do the breathing exercise, they're like, my body doesn't work that way, right? Because they're so used to breathing and shifting the air straight up to the top portion of their lungs. I've been trying to teach my mother this technique for years. And still, every single time we're doing it, I'm like, are you ready, Mamacita? And she's like, pero Andresito, es que no sé. She's always like, I don't know what I'm doing. It doesn't feel right to her, right? She's always like weirded out with it. Don't stress it out, right? Okay, don't worry about it. You're doing the breath to de-stress you, right? to calm yourself down, to get you in the present moment. After a while, you're going to get used to reprogramming yourself to breathing the proper way. And like I said earlier, even if you just catch yourself when you're breathing in and out of your mouth, and you always remind yourself you're mindful of breathing in and out of your nose, just that alone is going to start this process of transforming the way that you breathe. All right? So I'm going to invite everybody to get into a nice, comfortable seated position. Ideally, you want to have your head, neck, and spine aligned, your feet grounded on the floor. If you'd like to, some people like to sit on the edge of their seat. That helps them prop their spine up, but it's completely up to you. You just want to be comfortable. I also welcome you to close your eyes. It's completely up to you as well. I think it helps block out distractions. So you're going to see me while I lead the practice. I'm going to close my eyes as well. And we're just going to take like 10 to 15 of these breaths together, okay? So nice, comfortable position. Take a hand, any hand, place your hand on your belly. Remember, this is going to be your marker. Everybody inhale nice and deep through your nose. Push your belly out as far as you can. Leave your hand there. Exhale and pull your belly away from your hand. Imagine you're trying to touch your spine. Create that space. Inhale deep again. Push your belly back out towards your hands, towards that marker. It's your own personal marker. Exhale and pull your belly away from your hand. Inhale deep, belly out towards your hand. Exhale it all out. Pull your belly away from your hand. Nice, slow, long, deep breaths. Inhale deep, belly back out towards your hand. Exhale it all out. Pull your belly away from your hand. You can use your imagination while you do this as well. Inhale deep. Push your belly out towards your hand. See and feel that healing oxygen rushing into your body, cleaning your blood. Exhale it all out. Push any of that stale CO2 out, along with any thoughts, any stress, anxiety, worries, doubts, fears. Inhale deep. Exhale it all out. Inhale. Exhale it out. Inhale deep, belly out towards your hand. Exhale it all out. Pull your belly away from your hand. Inhale deep. Exhale it out. Inhale. Exhale. Do a few more together. Inhale deep. Exhale it all out. Inhale deep. Exhale. Two more together. Inhale deep. Belly out to your hand. Exhale it all out. Last one. Inhale deep. Exhale it all out. Nice and slow exhale. Now I invite you to take 3 breaths on your own. Here you're being a scientist. You're doing an internal assessment and you're asking yourself, how do you feel? How does your mind feel? Is it clear or is it racing with thoughts? How does your body feel? Is it tense or has it relaxed? Know that if you ever want to feel this way again, all you have to do is take a few deep breaths. And if you had your eyes closed when you finish, you can slowly, slowly blink them open, come back to your senses. Now, one of the most amazing things that I've ever seen happen with this, and I've seen this happen countless times. We're in a school and two kids are in a confrontation. They're fighting, right? And we pull them apart, and the one kid's looking at me and he's doing one of these, the fist. But they said this about my mama, right? So they're doing all that, right? And they're having one of those, and I say, all right, now do me a favor, put your hand on your heart. So he puts his hand on his heart, right? And he can feel this, right? His heart is beating out of his chest. And I say, now do the breath. And they start like this every time. And I'm like, no, do it the way I showed you and out your nose. So they start breathing. And this slows down. And it's almost instant. And the child's eyes get all big. I got big, crazy eyes anyway. So the child's eyes get all big. And they're like, wow, thank you, Mr. Andy. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, don't thank me. I didn't do nothing. You did it. You're in control yourself. And when they look at you with those eyes, they're like, wow, I am in control. And so that all of y'all know, we're all just grown up kids, really, right? That anytime you're feeling adversity, anytime you're overwhelmed, that sympathetic is rocking and rolling, you can feel that you're not who you are usually. You're not in the present moment. Try this technique and see how it helps you out. Hopefully you like it, and it's a tool you can keep tucked in your toolbox. And like I said, it's portable. Your breath is always there with you. You always have it. You don't have to go to the medicine cabinet. You don't have to call anybody for it. This is something you always have and you can always use. That's a good question, Lillian. So it depends. I think it depends because some people snore, right? So I don't know if everyone saw it in the chat. So Lillian asked, and I don't know if I missed other questions, right? So she asked, when we go to sleep, do we automatically just breathe like babies? And that's a great question. It varies with people. And the next session that I'm gonna talk about alternate nostril breathing. So when you're breathing through different sides of your nostrils, there's different things that happen. One side's more energizing, one side's more calming. So even when you're sleeping, say if you sleep on your right side, it activates your left nostril. If you sleep on your left side, it activates your right nostril. So it just depends on the type of person you are, what's going on. Your body's always making adjustments. That's why some people, when they're sleeping, they roll around when they sleep, right? Because they're activating both those sides to keep us activated all the time. I would say the majority of people, when they're sleeping, do not breathe like babies. They actually are all like this. That's why when you wake up, I used to tell kids all the time, because they didn't believe me about the filter in my nose, right? In your nose with the breathing. I always said, check yourself. Oh, I got it. Oh, is it sweat? I got something for your left nostril being blocked too. I'll go that next. So, what was I just saying about the other thing? Now I forget. I get so excited about the breathing and stuff like that. About the breathing in and out of your mouth all the time when you're sleeping. I tell the kids to look at their tongue in the morning because our taste buds are raised up and they can see all the gunk that is caked onto their taste buds from them breathing like this. So they can physically see that there are things going into our mouths while we're sleeping. And that's why we want to use that filtration system. As for your clogged nostril, okay, when I first started doing this technique, I was this kid all through middle and high school, all the time. It was extremely attractive. I'd tell you, it's so easy to get a date. It was amazing, right? So the thing is, he told me, he's like, I can fix that for you. And I'm like, I've had allergies my whole life. There's no way. I got the allergy test and like everything was raised on my arms, right? And he's like, no, I got you. He's like, you just got to take 30 deep breaths a day for 30 days and it'll go away. right? And 30 deep ones are talking lower lungs, then middle lungs, then upper lungs. So you're incorporating your full lung capacity when you're doing this breath. My nose is clogged, right? So 2 days into it, I'm breathing. I have both of them clogged. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? What are you doing to me? This is impossible. He's like, what you got to do there, Clog? Take your fingers and run them under lukewarm water, shake them out a little. This is going to get a little, we're getting a little gross here, guys, but this is how it works, right? You put them up your nose and you just breathe in. And the moisture is going to slowly start breaking through. So I remember like 6 days in, I finally am getting a little, and it's like when I'm breathing in, it's like a little trumpet, like a, when I'm doing it. Ali lived down the hall, so he could hear me doing it, right? I kept doing it, pushing it every single day. And I'm talking, you got to get up in there in the morning and clean all that stuff out. Some yogis take a cloth and they cough it out and they to clean that system. I don't do that, nor do I recommend that you do that. I don't think you need to take it that far, right? But I swear to y'all, after 30 days, my I have no respiratory issues, no clogged nose anymore. I don't even, a neti pot's a good idea too. Neti pot's a good idea too. But I don't even have allergies anymore after doing that. 30 days, 30 deep breaths a day for 30 straight days, and it cured me. And I told a lady this at a professional development because she had the same issue. The next time I saw the lady, she ran over to me, gave me the biggest hug, and she was like, I wanted to punch my doctor in the face because he had been giving me like these 10 pills, and I did your 30 breaths a day for 30 days. She said, and it cleared it up too. So give it a try. Be a scientist, though. Don't take my word for it. Our teacher always said, be a scientist. See what you can do. Did I get all the chat stuff? I know we're getting close to closing out soon. So just so y'all know, here, how about I'll do this? I'm going to do this. I'm going to put my email here in the chat. Anything y'all need, any other questions you need from me, please let me know. I have, I call it OCG, an obsessive compulsive gift. I don't think it's a disorder that I'm organized. I don't think it's a disorder, all right? But I will answer my emails, all right? So send me an email if you have any questions, anything you need. Plus, I'm going to be on here again in a few weeks. So thank you all so much for this. This is really, really awesome. I hope you benefited from this. Oh, you can't see it? Oh, so it's my name. It's Andres, ANDRES, at HLFINC.org. That's Harry, Larry, Frank, INC.org. And I guess the only other things I could say is we have a little talk with Sharon Salzberg this weekend. It's on Friday. Come check us out if you want to. We're doing a silent retreat training. We're doing another thing with yoga and mindfulness for youth and Omega Institute. Just email me. I can send all that stuff your way. Really, it's been a pleasure. It's been an honor. I say the same thing we always do with HLF. It's no Andres at HLFinc.org. Yep, not AOL.com. Yep. And don't forget, love is the most powerful force in the universe. I love each and every one of y'all. Have a blessed and beautiful day, okay? Peace.